Well, I thought that other side of the other side absolutely first class, but now we're in a muck because...
And coming here and giving us your real valuable time. I know you've got to dash off in 2 minutes, and let's face it, there's not much you can say in 2 minutes.
Are you going to keep playing the piano while I'm talking to you?
Just a minute.
No.
Let me do the right thing and
All right.
do the introductions. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for supporting the Goaldiggers. I'm sandwiched between two chairmen, the piano player from Watford.
You can't start like that.
Elton John.
It's not that kind of
And
organisation.
the chairman of the
Nobody ever starts
Goaldiggers,
formally like
Jimmy Hill, straight off the plane from Saudi Arabia, and looking it.
Brian Salami, the well-known commentator. No, seriously, folks, this is your well-known balding chairman speaking. I think it's wonderful that you've all turned out to help us, and we'll continue to do so. And in fact, I've dried up.
But what's more important is that whoever's bought this record will have given a £5 note to the Goaldiggers.
Yeah.
And that whoever he is, whether he's your aunt or uncle or nanny or whatever, it'd be nice to have a male nanny, wouldn't it? But whoever it is has contributed that money and brought this record home to you, so there is a personal message that you can play on your own gramophone. I mean, Brian and I only remember when there were gramophones. Elton's got something different in his house.
Brian,
what do you got?
I've got a radiogram. I'm on step up.
Now, Brian, what I thought we could all do, sitting on the plane last night, I thought it'd be a good idea if we all told the moment in our lives when something went really wrong. Like, it must happen to you and
Never goes wrong on ITV.
What,
You
on
only
that
have
big
to-
match programme?
Even on the big match programme, it never goes wrong.
Only when they have me doing it.
Go on, then.
Tell us your funny story, Jim.
Yeah, tell us about your horse with the white spots.
No, I can't tell you about the horse with the white spots because that's got a rude word in it, and I mustn't do that. But I can tell you about the first time I ever went hunting. And I'd only ridden a horse for about... wake up. We'd only been ridden a horse for about 3 months, and hunting is a very frightening business because you've got your crop in one hand and you've got the reins in another and a very lively horse. And we met in this village street with a lovely pub on the side of the road there, and I noticed that people were taking their hats off to say good morning to each other, and I thought, I hope nobody says good morning to me, because the problem of lifting my hat takes a hand, and I had one hand on, both hands on the reins and on the crop. Anyway, as it happened, this beautiful lady, must have been 70 years of age, riding side saddle, came up alongside me and said, good morning. It frightened the life out of me. I thought, well, I'd better make an attempt at it. I mustn't, as a footballer, I must represent football as well. So I let go of the reins, lifted my hat, put it down very quickly and grabbed the reins again. And at that moment, my horse let out one of those noises that horses are liable to let out at the wrong moments in life. And I didn't know what to do about it. I thought, and I said, I beg your pardon, ma'am. And she said, that's quite all right. I thought it was your horse.
Now, you were saying, Elton, that... what was it?
Get away from me.
My two friends made up their minds not to laugh at that, but they nearly killed themselves. Brian's ruptured himself there, and Elton, I think, may never sing again, which would be very sad.
Jimmy, I tell you what, seriously, we ought to do a straight piece and tell the ladies and gentlemen who may not have heard the Goaldiggers about the Goaldiggers and how it began and your part in it.
Well, all the people that were at the Goaldiggers ball.
I'd like some music while you're playing, because it's lovely with a little accompaniment, this. I think it's a lovely little story.
Don't play too loud, as you'll
No, I won't
overwhelm
play
it.
too loud. Right,
Play soft. If you play soft, I'll tell them about it. Piano. It's supposed to be a piano you're playing. Pianissimo. So, how it started. Well, really, it started with a group of people who were crazy on football. Arpeggio. And...
that's the Italian right back.
with the idea of raising money to provide pitches, hard area pitches, on which underprivileged kids could play. There's a tremendous demand from them. People talk about the hooligan problem, what you do to satisfy it, or really not to satisfy it, to end it. And I think so often it's because kids have got energy they can't find another outlet for. And if we do our bit and provide the pitches around the country, they can kick a ball about to their heart's delight from dawn to dusk. And you see the high-rise flats so often in areas, and you'll see no ball games allowed.
In other words, you're plummeting off window boxes.
Yeah. But the little committee got together, and originally we had Michael Parkinson and Brian Miz is still there, founder member. Brian Forbes was the first chairman, and I took over as chairman after a period. We played football matches. We're prepared to do anything to raise money for gold, even make fools of ourselves on a record like this. And for Elton on the other side,
Jim, you're doing pretty well at the moment.
for Elton on the other side to compose and sing that really
Marvellous song. That's gonna
And
be-
Brian joined in to help because we had a couple of resignations on the committee and we needed more strength. And really, this record, the ball that at which this record was purchased, were all part of the new blooming and blossoming of the Goaldiggers for that cause. What about you? You mean to tell me you've never had a funny experience? But I mean, Brian, there was the time, I mean, don't tell me you've never made a mistake, when I was introducing Nigel Starmer Smith.
The rugby commentator.
Well, it's three names.
Nigel Starmer Smith, he said. Nigel Starmer Smith, up and down the corridor, Nigel Starmer Smith. And he went onto the air, and eventually he came to the point where he said, and now it's our rugby preview, and here to bring it for us is our rugby commentator, Nigel Starmer Smith. And he got it right with enormous relief. And he went on to say, who had 7 craps for England as a scum half.
Oh, you laughed at that one, didn't you? Laughed at that one. Laughing at that one.
What a generous man. What a generous man.
That's what I mean. Everybody can make
mistakes.
mistakes.
I said, you know, the timing on the ball when Norman Hunter pissed a fatness test. Yeah?
Oh, really?
Well, there you are. Fist of fatness test. I knew you'd made one mistake.
Only one,
in your
but that was
career.
back in 19...
Yeah, 4 or 5 years ago. When you're in your 50s.
But I think we thank everybody for coming along and supporting the football charity.
The only football charity, folks. This is the only football charity.
And
the only
you-
worthwhile.
And do you realise you've got a record now that there can never be more than 500 in existence? It's going to be
No.
quite priceless in the years to come.
We've burnt the tape, so that's it. I haven't got any funny things that happened to me. Ian.
Have you not?
Not really. Nothing really funny happens to me.
Well, in all the concerts, they've all gone absolutely...
Oh, and the only
Apple
time
pie
anything
order.
really happened was when we did at Hammersmith Odeon one Christmas. 'Cause we used to do Christmas concerts at Hammersmith Odeon every year, and I organised snow to fall on the stage. And it was like polystyrene, bits of polystyrene, and it all came down at once. It wasn't supposed to, and it lodged between the keys of the piano. In fact, seized the whole piano. We're in the middle of a number. I think it was in White Christmas or something. I couldn't play the piano anymore after that. There was roadies coming with knives, scraping all this snow. It's about the only really funny thing that's happened to me, and neither of you laughed.
Oh, well, I mean, it's you know, it's not that... What do you think of the show so far?
Well, I sent somebody up to Mentmore yesterday to bid for me on something, and it was withdrawn. That's pretty funny.
Well, we see. That's it. I mean, we just made it up. Proud to say that name. Good old Goaldiggers. Shall we do that?
Yeah, let's do that. Not too high, though.
Not too high. Good old Goaldiggers, we're proud to say that name. Help us raise the cash so kids can play the game.
Let's introduce the clubs involved, really. I mean, at the heart of the matter. Let's have a minute's silence for Watford, for example.
A minute silence for Watford now.
minute?
From now on.
From now.
That's enough.
That's enough.
That's
Now,
Let's have a 2
2
minutes.
minutes.
The 78, folks.
Oh, dear.
Go on, Brian.
Let's have a 2 minute silence for Gillingham.
Rubbish.
And that's the sound of our crowd most Saturdays.
And now could we have a 3 minute silence for Coventry?
That's where you should be sent, mate.
But what we should also have is a 4 minute
And
silence
here's one
for...
for Luton.
What about that, Eric?
Excellent. But I am a crawler. I've been watching the three of you there. You look like Lowland Hardy and Ernie. The whole thing was quite frightening.
Was it really?
How are you, Jim?
I'm very well, Eric. But, I mean, what about Elton's performance for getting the words like that for a real live pro and all that? Well, what do you make of that?
I've no idea.
Hmm?
What's he do for a living?
Well, he sings and plays the piano.
Where is he now? He's gone to make the coffee, hasn't he?
Well, I should think so.
I'll learn the
after that.
piano. Yes.
But, I mean, Brian and I were a little
Who?
disappointed. Brian Moore, you know, he works
Oh,
on the other side.
him I know.
Ah.
Him I know. Brian
Moore.
Moore. Yes, I know him very well. He's a
Don't
big
you think
personal
they've had
friend.
enough?
Eh? Oh,
Moore?
good Lord, no.
That's nice, that.
That's Ernie's loose change.
Right, now,
Oh.
about the Goaldiggers.
Yes?
What are you going to do?
For them?
Yes.
Or
for
with
With them, for them, with them, whichever
Well,
way you
I'm
like.
going to work as hard as I possibly can, which means nothing. And I want everything to be a success because Elton, what's his name? Moore.
John?
Elton Moore.
Elton Moore.
He has worked very hard
Yes.
on that number with Brian John.
Yes. I
And
like
they've
them very
got a
much.
great number going for them there. It's called the Watford Gap.
What's the Watford Gap?
That's about 3/4 of a mile up the motorway,
Oh, is it?
coming back.
Which is about where they were when they
Elton's
finished
known
the
as the
song.
Watford Gap, you know.
Is he?
Yeah, yes, because he's connected with that, what's his name?
What,
Watford. Have you ever spelled that backwards?
No, what does it say?
Druftor.
Very interesting.
Yes. How do you fancy being chairman of Druftor?
It's a nice idea.
Sounds like cheap underwear. It's very good. I'm all for it.
Well, really, we should be saying thank you
That's a
somewhere
lovely
along
beard,
the
that.
Did
It's a
I-
lovely beard, that.
We
The
should
last
be
time
thank-
I saw anything like that on a chin, the whole herd had to be destroyed. It's true.
Now, should we say thank you to the people who bought this record? Because by now it'll be home and they'll be playing it, you see, and you can give a personal message of thanks to them and say thank you very much for paying a £5 for this rubbish.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for buying and for paying a £5 for this rubbish. Well, we'll leave on that, shall we?
Shall we? Why
Yes.
not? A little dance to go off, or a song, or...
Are you still a good mover?
Oh, yes.
I once saw you play for Fulham.
Next year I want to do an Angela Rippon.
Well, don't we all? Good Lord, you're not on your own there, sunshine. Hell, fire, golly.
You know,
Yes.
I mean in front of the public on your show.
Do you really? Well, that should get the ratings.
Because, you know, I can dance as well
As well as what?
as Angela Rippon.
Oh, really? I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
And good football.
This
to
is
take.
all good, isn't it? This is good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's what I call high-class rubbish.
We're
Well,
enjoying it anyway.
I think I ought to leave now because I've got somebody waiting
Yes, and apart
with
from
a bad
the
leg.
the temperature of this studio is
Angela
about
Rippon, she's waiting
200.
outside.
Is she?
With a bad leg, yeah.
Is she?
It's the third one. The one I can have.
Oh, I see.
So I'll say goodbye, Jim.
Goodbye,
And
Eric.
give my regards to Elton Moore
Yes,
and Brian John
yes.
and Jimmy.
Jimmy.
However,
Young?
never
No,
was.
not with a grey beard.
No, good Lord, no. I remember you when you were 17. You went from 17 to 32 overnight. I saw it.
That was
your last
after
game you
watching
played
Luton
for
play.
Lovely. So I'll say goodbye, Jim, and it's been a great pleasure working with you, whoever you are. Can I get out, please? No? And could I have the money for doing this recording, please, now? And I'd like it in loose change for Ernie.
Would you?
Thank you very much indeed.